The three-pointed star. There are very few brands in the world that can say so much with a logo. And Mercedes-Benz is up there because no other car brand has stood for power and money more than the Mercedes. Whether you are an African despo or an UMNO warlord or a Chinaman Tauke, this car said to the world, I've got more money than you. So what happens then when some of those associations become a little less politically correct, shall we say? Because there's a whole new generation that want all the values that Mercedes stand for, but don't necessarily want to be linked with some of those aforementioned things. Enter the new breed of Benzes, designed for a whole new customer, younger, stylish, but still wanting to send across that very important message that I've got a lot of money. This is the GLA 250. I think the easiest way to describe the GLA is that it's a A-class on high heels that's gone to the gym and bulked up. What's interesting about this car is that, you know how some cars are either masculine or feminine? The GLA seems to have crossed that divide. It's clearly transgender, because on the one hand it's got these beefy, bulky front sides, and then it's got the nice soft bottom at the end. So, I mean, they say this is a small SUV, but let's get real. Yes, it's got four-wheel drive and a whole 2 inches above the ground over an A-class, but you're not going to win the Camel Trophy with this one. But you know how they say you can't compare apples and oranges? This one's a banana. So the interior of the GLA 250 is clearly modern German. Kudos to Mercedes-Benz, because this is a true return to form. Over the last few years, a lot has been said about the interiors of most of the new Mercs, and the consensus was that they look slightly better than a dog's dinner. In this car, it's not. It's this lovely dashboard that's finished in brushed aluminum, and these retro vents make the car very stylish, yet classy. This console shared again across the MFA platform, pretty standard Mercedes. Steering wheel has got the flat bottom, it's meaty enough. There's 4 leather and microfiber, so it ticks all the boxes insofar as how a premium car should be. I like the fact that the gear shift is column mounted, so it frees up the center console a little bit. And what are the things I don't like? It does feel a little bit cramped in here. I'm not the tallest guy in the world, but I do feel like I'm being shoved in a little bit. So that was one. Number two, for a small SUV, and I know it's a small SUV, I'd still expect to be sitting a little bit higher, and I'm not. Insofar as the general conditions, I look at the back seat and I wonder if 2 people sat in the back there, the Jakim guys would probably have you arrested for close proximities. In their marketing literature, Mercedes promises that the GLA will take you to excitement and beyond. I've been to excitement, never really been to beyond, so let's see what it's all about. So the GLA is equipped with a 2-liter turbo engine, churns out 211 horses, and it has 350 Newton meters of torque. Every time I listen to numbers like that, I think about what a great time it is to live in now, because you never have imagined that a 4-cylinder, 2-liter engine would be churning out those kinds of numbers 10 years ago, but here we are. So it's obviously also pretty frugal. and it does, or at least it claims to do the 0 to 100 in 7.2 seconds. First impressions, solid. It's riding the bumps very nicely. I know we live in Kuala Lumpur and all our roads are billiard smooth. The steering wheel is not uncommunicative. It's giving me some feedback. It doesn't say too much. If this steering could talk, it would be monosyllabic. It's going ja, nein, Achtung. You know, that's about it. But having said that, it's telling you what's going on, so you don't feel removed from the road. I can live with that. Oh, I'll tell you what, this car's got some bite. Its in-gear acceleration is very nice. NVH is okay. Now, perhaps the one consideration is because this comes with the AMG Aero kit, it's got 19-inch wheels. So it's probably riding a little bit harsher, but at least it's not brittle. It's firm, not brittle. Previously, all the Mercedes gearboxes always felt like you were trying to work your way through mud. In this car, the changes are swift, crisp, and they happen at exactly the right time, at least in comparison to before. I've often found these crossover small SUV segments to be quite superfluous, and they never quite made sense to me. But in this car, I may have to change my mind because, you know, once again, I said it's higher, it's larger, but I can almost start to forget that it is a small SUV and it's behaving a bit hot hatch-like. They've tuned it quite right because there's just enough amount of roll to tell you that you're leaning in. It is, after all, a taller car, but it's got a lot of mechanical grip and it's very, very sure-footed. Going around the bend, holding the line nicely, as I said, a little bit of roll, but the mechanical grip is amazing on this car. I guess the four-wheel drive helps a little bit. So, the GLA 250, what can you say about it? In summary, while it's a Mercedes-Benz, it's not an anchor car. But who would buy it and why? Whoever buys it needs to have a lot of money because it's just short of 270,000 ringgit. Why would you buy it? I guess maybe because hatchback's too small for you, and maybe you don't like a sedan, or maybe you just want to be different. Whatever the reason, the GLA 250, while falling short in some areas, is not an entirely bad proposition. And, well, in the words of that great 80s poet Weird Al Yankovic, have a banana, have a whole bunch.